Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ecop Conversations, where we highlight the journey and insights of early career ocean professionals in the world. And today we're pleased to host Gilbert, who is going actually to share with us his journey as a scientist, as a taxonomist. So, first of all, hello, Gilbert.
Hi.
And let's start with a basic question. So, can you please introduce yourself? What do you do? Where you're based? Where do you come from?
First of all, well, thank you for having me here. I'm Gilbers Romero Suarez. I come from Venezuela, and I'm currently working at ECOSEAS laboratory at the Université Côte in Nice. And my current line of research and work is going around taxonomy of benthic marine invertebrates.
So, when did you start your current position here in Nice? Were you a taxonomist when you were in Venezuela, or how did it happen?
So if we go back, I can say that I have something around 7 years of experience doing taxonomy. I started back when I was in my country. First, I was a trainee under a professor of mine because I studied biology back in Venezuela. And I presented myself to be a trainee because I was really interested in working with taxonomy of invertebrates. After 2 months and doing some training, this professor offered me the opportunity to be an assistant researcher. And I actually spent 2 years working under her. Then I came back, I came here to France, basically out of my country and looking for any opportunity that could help me get around, but always wanting to keep on track with research. I ended up being lucky enough to find my current position here at ECOSEAS. So it's been almost 6 years, I believe, that I've been here. And by a matter of luck or serendipity, I don't know how I would call it, I brought with me a competence that was missing from the area for a little bit of 100 years or 200 years. So it's quite rare.
I will start with my first question. When you were in Venezuela, you were also working on invertebrates. And you here work
Yes.
on invertebrates. So can you give us more insights about like your country? Invertebrates there, are they different from the ones here? Or was it like hard for you to do something? At the beginning you were focused on Venezuela, but now you're more focused on the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes, that is actually one of the major difficulties that I had because I had to learn a whole new fauna, because from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean, it's fairly different. And also, when I was in Venezuela, I worked mostly with polychaetes. That's well, I love polychaetes. So my professor, she was an expert on polychaetes also, so she trained me on doing everything polychaetes, but not from soft bottom, but from coral. So that's a difference there already. And when I came to France and I started working here, uh, I had to learn everything related to Mediterranean species, and not only that, but also I had to do it in French and in English, because back in the country I was doing taxonomy in Spanish. So I had to learn all over again how to say the structures, how to describe them. And when the students come to me, I have to adapt to the language they speak. Also, found in Venezuela is well, very rich. We are very close to the equator, so it varies a lot from Mediterranean one. And even with my colleagues here in France, I have a very specific fauna in the Eastern Mediterranean that varies with the fauna of the Western Mediterranean and, of course, the Atlantic side of France and the north side of France.
So you talked about the difficulties of the language, the difficulties also of like the field, the scientific field, the different regions. So is there other challenges that you faced in your career?
More than to myself, I would say that is these are challenges that all taxonomists are facing, and it's lack of funding for anything taxonomy related throughout the years, lack of taxonomists with whom you can speak or with you can exchange. And for example, that is one of the things that hit me the most was losing my mentor and coming here and taking everything into charge. So I have train myself. I have gone to train under other people, but I had to go from the novice to intermediate level in a short period of time. And right now, I'm actually in the position of training a new generation of students who will come under me. Another thing is that taxonomists face the fact that there is not a subject in when teaching biology. You don't go and see a subject that is called just systematics. Students normally go through it, and they go through it within an hour of courses and teachings. So when they come to us, they have little bit knowledge, and maybe if they are interested, they will come to you and talk about you with all of this.
So I noticed that we talked a lot about taxonomy, taxonomists, but
Yes.
maybe there are some people who don't know the word, the meaning of the word. So what do you actually do, like precisely?
This is a field of biology that you can divide into two parts, let's say it like this. First, you have systematics. In systematics, you work with everything related to cladograms, phylogeny, everything that is tree related and evolution lines. For example, if you are a systematician, you are working with bony fishes and cartilaginous fish. And how are they related? You go back to the phylogeny, to the point where they separated, and you analyze them. When you're a taxonomist, you are mostly working in what you could call three parts. First one is identification, then there's classification, and then there's the nomenclature. So a taxonomist gathers samples, puts them in a group, says they belong to this group because of the characteristics of their body form. We mostly are based on morphology. And then all along the norms of the ICZN, the International Zoological Nomenclature, we decide whether this is a new species, not a new species. So we tend to organize the world we're living in.
You also mentioned that your job is getting extinct. There's not a lot of taxonomists. And I am interested in knowing, first of all, if you consider being a taxonomist something very hard, like not everyone can be a taxonomist, for example. Why don't we have a lot of taxonomists, for example, other than, of course, the funding that you already mentioned?
I would like to say that taxonomy it's part of the human behavior. In our everyday life, we have a tendency to organize stuff. We put the whites from the colors, we differentiate poisonous food from non-poisonous food, and we differentiate uh, family from non-family. And everyone has this kind of eye. The thing is, when you want to be a taxonomist, or you could say that a taxonomist is born, not made, is because you have an eye for detail and you like to solve puzzles all along the way. As a personal experience, anytime that I'm looking at an animal, for me, it's kind of a game. It's an algorithm that it's going in my head. Who are you? What are you doing? What are you doing here? What do you represent? What is your presence meaning to all my study? Because taxonomy is not only about describing, it also englobes many other things. You have to know about physiology. You also have to know about ecology, population dynamics, zoology, etc., etc. So the thing is, yes, it does take quite a long time to become an expert. I consider myself just to an intermediate level because almost 10 years experience is not very much in this field. The real experts, they have around 50 years to get where they are. The thing is that they, those experts are getting extinct. They are really old now, and they are located or isolated all around the world. And there is actually no way, or until now, until the last 10 years, there hasn't been a way to connect one with the others. And for example, if I'm interested in a very specific type of, for example, nematode, because nematodes are not that well studied. There are millions of species that are undescribed. And there's an expert on nematodes that's living, I don't know, in the other side of the world. It will be very difficult for us to connect. There's a lot of money that doesn't come in. and there's not a lot of opportunities when asking for projects that will get us together. I would say that in the last 10 years, there has been an effort. Taxonomy has been on the mouth of many people, and there are efforts to bring people together, work in samples that come from different parts of the world so that we can create a global network. Because at the end, the idea is to actually, well, describe every single organism that lives on Earth, even if it's a goal that is quite far away.
But that can be your next project to try,
Maybe.
to like group them all together because yeah, I know from our field that people will be expert in one specific thing. They will look, for example, at copepods and they will know what copepod is that and everything. And each person is specialized in one thing. So nobody can be specialized in everything. This is the
No.
problem.
At
So
first, normally you start as a generalist, and from there you
yeah.
go and you decide which way are you going to go. That is also an issue because, and normally and ideally, you will have like a senior taxonomist that is teaching a less senior that one is teaching another, and so on and so on and so on. And you have a line of expertise, and it's perpetualized through time.
So, I wanted to know, like, why do you love the ocean? Like, is there something that happened to you that made you specialize in this field, or was it just by mistake you saw this in a class and you were like, oh my God, I want to know what this is?
Well, my love for the ocean, I think, comes from my father because he was a fisherman back when he was younger, and when I was a kid, I was always going to the beach and I was always swimming, and I got sunburned like so much. But besides that, I was always curious. I can tell you a little anecdote. For example, the first time I went on a plane with my parents, I was looking at the window and I asked them, what if the plane crashes? What will happen to us? And my parents answer me, and then I ask another question, and so on for the next 2 hours. So they always told me, you're asking too many questions, but they always answered to me. And another thing is that growing up, I was always looking at the small things in life. For example, I would spend hours just looking at ant colonies, going from one place to other, just analyzing the ants. So it wasn't a surprise that when I was in college and I saw the first unit of taxonomy, I was so happy when I did my first identification key. And I will always remember it because it was with a sponge. I love sponges. And I'm meaning to do some work with the sponges with a colleague here. Where she's a microbiologist, and this talks to you about the how transversal taxonomy can be. But yeah, I took some sponges. I did what you need to do to actually identify sponges. I went through the key and I got it at the first time. I say, hey, this is fun. This is like playing a detective game. So I kept doing it. I kept doing it, and my all of my other colleagues or my friends in the lab, they always telling me, but why do you like this? This is useless. Back in Venezuela, this is useless. You will never gain your life with this. And look at me right now. I decided to go with taxonomy. It was a compromise. I said, I like this and I will make my life about this. And I don't care what you say. And look, the opportunities have come to me.
I would like to know what is your next plans? Like, what is next for you now in your life? This is my first question. And my
Yeah.
second question is, what advice would you give ECOPs who, for example, they don't know what to do or they like taxonomy, but they don't know if they should do it or not? Do you have any advice for them?
Right now, the next step is going like right now in February, I'm going to come in contact with a project that is actually building this taxonomy network that is the ocean census. I'm very excited to work with them because we will describe new isopod species. I will bring back all of this knowledge to Nice, where we don't have a lot of information on the fauna that lives here. It's been almost 20 to 60 years that, any information has come out of here. Well, I will sample a lot of invertebrates here in Nice as to establish the fauna and help the National History Museum get information with us. We are going to work with the museum in Nice, and we're going to bring it back to life. But to the ECOPs, what can I say to them is just if they are interested in taxonomy, is just find someone who can teach you, and they will probably be very happy to find someone who's really interested, and they will give their all to give you the tools to find success. It has already happened to me. Any student that comes to my hands that says, I'm really interested into this, I'm always saying, I have a lot of information. I have a ton of information. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be long. But if you commit, you are going to actually enjoy the process. So stay curious, stay motivated, and actually keep on asking questions.
The last question is how can we support you? How can we support your work or know more about what you're doing? For example, if an ECOP is interested in taxonomy and want to see what you do in France, can they reach out?
Yeah, totally, totally. Always open to any collaboration, any guidance possible. The more, the merrier. And mostly through either my mail or LinkedIn. Yeah, anyone who's interested in contacting me, I will always be open to answer any questions relevant to the field.
So we're gonna wrap up now. Thank you for actually joining us and sharing your journey. It was really interesting. And for the ECOPs, I tell you until next time and see you on the next ECOP conversations.